Alright, today's daily reading, and today is Mark 6. So, drink quick. Okay. Mark 6. He left there and came to his hometown, and his disciples followed him. When the Sabbath came, he began to teach them in the synagogue, and many who heard him were astonished. "Where did this man get these things?" they said. "What is this wisdom that has been given to him, and how are these miracles performed by his hands? Isn't this the carpenter, the son of Mary, and the brother of James, Judas and Simon? And aren't his sisters here with us?" So they were offended by him. Jesus said to them, "A prophet is not without honor except in his hometown, among his relatives, and in his household." He was not able to do a miracle there, except that he laid his hands on a few sick people and healed them. And he was amazed at their unbelief. He was going around the villages teaching. He summoned the 12 and began to send them out in pairs and gave them authority over unclean spirits. He instructed them to take nothing for the road except a staff, no bread, no traveling bag, no money in their belts, but to wear sandals and not put on extra shirt. He said to them, "Whenever you enter a house, stay there until you leave that place. If any place does not welcome you or listen to you, when you leave there, shake the dust off your feet as a testimony against them." So they went out and preached. The people should repent. They drove out many demons, anointed many sick people with oil, and healed them. King Herod heard about it, and because Jesus' name had become well known, some said, "John the Baptist has been raised from the dead, and that's why miraculous powers are at work in him." But others said, "He's Elijah." Still others said, "He's a prophet like one of the prophets from long ago." When Herod heard of it, he said, "John, the one I beheaded, has been raised." For Herod himself has given orders to arrest John and chain him in prison on account of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, because he had married her. John had been telling Herod, "It is not lawful for you to have your brother's wife." So Herodias held a grudge against him and wanted to kill him. But she could not, because Herod feared John and protected him, knowing he was a righteous and holy man. When Herod heard him, he knew he would be very perplexed, and yet he liked to listen to him. An opportune time came on his birthday, when Herod gave a banquet for his nobles, military commanders, and the leading men of Galilee. When Herodias' own daughter came in and danced, she pleased Herod and his guests. The king said to the girl, "Ask me whatever you want, and I'll give it to you." He promised her with an oath, "Whatever you ask me, I will give to you, up to half my kingdom." She went out and said to her, "Mother, what should I ask for?" "John the Baptist's head," she said. At once she hurried to the king and said, "I want you to give me John the Baptist's head on a platter immediately." Although the king was deeply distressed because of his oath and the guests, he did not want to refuse her. The king immediately sent for an executioner and commanded him to bring John's head. So he went and beheaded him in prison, brought his head on the platter, and gave it to the girl. Then the girl gave it to her mother. When John's disciples heard about it, they came and removed his corpse and placed it in a tomb. The apostles gathered around Jesus and reported to him that all they had done and taught. He said to them, "Come away, be yourself to a remote place and rest for a while." For many people were not coming and going, and they did not even have time to eat. So they went away in the boat by themselves to a remote place. But many saw them leaving and recognized them, and they ran on foot from all the towns and arrived ahead of them. When he went ashore, he saw a large crowd, had compassion on them, because they were like sheep without a shepherd. Then he began to teach them many things. When it grew late, his disciples approached them and said, "This place is deserted, and it's already late. Send them away so that they can go inside the surrounding countryside and villages to buy themselves something to eat." "You give them something to eat," he responded. They said to him, "Should we go and buy 200 denarii worth of bread and give them something to eat?" He asked them, "How many loaves do you have? Go and see." When they found out, they said, 5 and 2 fish. I lost my place again. Dang it. Then he structured them to have all the people sit down in groups on the green grass. So they sat down in groups of 150s. He took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up into heaven, he blessed and broke the loaves. He kept giving them to his disciples to set before the people. He also divided 2 fish among them all. Everyone ate and was satisfied. They picked up 12 baskets full of pieces of bread and fish. Now those who had eaten the loaves were 5,000 men. Immediately he made his disciples go into the boat and go ahead to him to the other side of another town, Sidda, the same one for Adonai. While he dismissed the crowd after he said goodbye to them, he went away in the mountain to pray. Well into the night, the boat was in the middle of the sea, and he was alone on the land. He saw them straining at the oars because the wind was against them. Very early in the morning, he came toward them walking on the sea and wanted to pass by them. When they saw him walking on the sea, they thought it was a ghost and cried out because they all saw him and were terrified. Immediately he spoke with them and said, "Have courage, it is I, don't be afraid." Or do not be afraid. Let's repeat. I'll get back to that in a second. Then he got into the boat with them, and the wind ceased, and they were completely astounded, because they had not understood about the loaves. Instead, their hearts were hardened. When they had crossed over, they came to shore at and anchored there. As they got out of the boat, people immediately recognized him. They hurried through the region and began to carry the sick on mats to wherever they heard he was. Whenever he went into villages, towns, or country, they laid sick in the marketplaces and begged him that they might touch just the end of his robe, and everyone who touched it was healed. So let me go back to the have courage, it is I, don't be afraid. My translation, it says don't be afraid, but that's repeated 365 times in the Bible. Do not be afraid. It's repeated 365 times in the Bible. So it's a pretty cool fact there. So yeah, check in for tomorrow for Mark 8.